A good morrow to this fair assembly, my TJ scholars, and welcome to the month of March. Today is March the 1st, and we have some things to look forward to here. First of all, big day today, big day. I want to talk about Joe Romano's assemblies, but I don't want to talk about that without saying, once again, not only congratulations for last week, everybody, but thank you. You all did a fantastic job remembering all those protocols and the safety measures that we had put together. You knew where you were supposed to enter the building and you wore masks. You just did an outstanding job. So not only were we just absolutely thrilled to see you guys, but we're really proud of you. So keep it up, everybody. Great, great job. So I think it's kind of a cool reward then that today is Joe Romano Virtual Assembly Day. Yes. So he is always a lot of fun. A reminder that your families and your teachers, they have those Zoom links for you guys to log on so that you can get into this assembly. A reminder that those of you that come to school or that you check in with your teacher in the mornings, your assembly starts at 10 a.m. today. Those of you that come to school in the afternoons or check in with your teacher in the afternoons, then your assembly is at 11 a.m. this morning. Huge shout out and thank you to the Falls Church Elementary PTA that helped get this assembly up and running, which is really, really cool. I don't think it's too early to start thinking about the joys of spring break, my friends. Spring break is not that far away, guys. 4 weeks from today, actually. Spring break starts on March the 29th, so we have that to look forward to. Finally, friends, before we get to where is Mr. Swanson, I think that this is a good time for us to look back on the month of February and let's think about all the things that we learned during Black History Month. Hopefully you were able to follow along with some of those daily trivia questions that we learned about the many contributions that Black Americans have made to our country and their accomplishments. Think about where we have been on our TJ announcements. We visited places like the home of Frederick Douglass, who was this amazing man who escaped slavery and went on to become an extraordinary author, one of President Lincoln's friends and advisors. We visited the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. We visited the Freedmen's Cemetery in Alexandria, where we just looked at some of those headstones and thought about how courageous those folks were, that they had escaped slavery and all the things that they had gone through in order to get to Alexandria and become free. And then we also visited last week the Lincoln Memorial, which takes us to where was Mr. Swanson last week? Now, it's true that I was at the Lincoln Memorial, but you guys may remember that the question was very specifically, there was this one spot, this one like 3-foot square that we wanted to figure out where was Mr. Swanson, what's significant about that square. And many of you figured out that yes, I was at the Lincoln Memorial, but specifically, I was standing on the exact location where Dr. Martin Luther King gave his famous I Have a Dream speech. And think about this, guys. That speech was almost 60 years old now, almost 60 years ago. And yet we still think about it. We still celebrate that speech. I believe that Miss Muller's class even watched that whole speech about a month or so ago. And what's amazing about that is that during a time of so much hate and so much fear and so much racism, Dr. King was able to change the world, not with his fists, not with his anger, but with his heart and his words and through nonviolence. It was an extraordinary achievement and one that benefited not only all of our country, but the entire world. So, a major shout out to Miss McCann's class that knew this, Miss Dubois, Mrs. Muller's class, Miss Epstein, Mrs. Fines, Mrs. Lauer, and Mrs. Sheldon. So here is today's Where is Mr. Swanson? Now, unfortunately, friends, I couldn't get to where I wanted to get today because of the weather, but let me give you a couple hints, okay? First of all, I am at a location that we have visited before on the announcements. I am at the college alma mater of Vice President Kamala Harris. That's one. But I am after a more specific location than that. I am at a place right behind me, actually, that is a quadrangle. A quadrangle. A quadrangle is kind of like a rectangle, and that it's surrounded by buildings like on all four sides. But this particular quadrangle is named after somebody that is very, very famous in American history. And another couple of hints. First of all, this person was a woman. And then the extraordinary thing about this woman was that she too, she escaped slavery. But unlike probably most of us who would run away from a horror and that we would try to get away from it and stay away from it, this woman not only escaped, but then she went back to that place and kept going back for a very specific reason. So that is the quadrangle where I am at. So here is your question. Where is Mr. Swanson? And very specifically, what is the name of the quadrangle that Mr. Swanson is at right now? There you have it, my friends. Okay, guys, with that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to try to get out of the rain and hope that my computer is not completely shot from all this water. All right, everybody, with that, let's always, always make sure that we're being safe. Let's be respectful. Let's be responsible, just like every single day, no matter where we are. Let's do some good today. Have a good one, Tigers.